Hello, guys. This is day two of fourth test of Border Gavaskar Trophy at Melbourne. And like our batting order, it seems that the top five have come from the NSG and LRA groups on this video podcast. So we have yesterday welcomed Pranav on this podcast. Vineet is not a new guy in NSG or long rope army either. And today we have our new guest, Anuj Prabhu. We'll give him a minute to introduce himself and then review the day two in detail. Hello, Anuj. Please introduce yourself as early as you can. Maybe longer than Virat's innings usually.
Hi guys, my name is Anuj Prabhu. I am a journalist by profession and yeah, a die-hard cricket fan, as you all are.
Okay, Vineet, any comments on
That
that?
was as short as Rohit Sharma's innings.
I was expecting Vineet to say that. But yes, thanks, Rishabh, to filling in for Vinit. Okay, so like always, we'll give Vineet and Rishabh the chance to summarize the MCG day two today because they are there to witness the action in person, and also let us know how is it for the spectators, Indian spectators, that too at the stadium. What is your feeling and what does it look like for you on day three?
Uh, so it was a cold day here in Melbourne to start with, and the performance of the team in the first session was not completely different as well. They looked cold in the field. The first session, I think they conceded 141 runs, I think, and you don't win test matches in a session, but you do lose test matches in a session, and I think India lost this test match in the first session today morning. So it was a tough day overall, especially after what we've seen over the last two Australian tours. But this brought back memories of 2011, 2012 completely.
Yeah. And what is it like with the spectators there, the Aussies? Are they giving it back to the Indian cricketers?
Yeah, so what I observed yesterday till the days till the Virat and Constas altercation happened is Siraj was public enemy number one, but 3 overs into the MCG test everything changed, and actually Siraj has been getting a relief because of what Kohli did. All the heat, all the anger is directed towards Virat. Whenever he's going to the boundary to collect the ball, the crowd is heckling him when he walked into bat, right after T, when Rahul got out, and I think T was taken after that. When Kohli and Jaiswal walked in, huge boos rang across the ground, and even when he got out, the crowd was pretty aggressive on him.
Yeah, and you said Siraj was given some respite, right? He was given some rest from the booing. It seems now at the end of the fourth test, Siraj might be given a rest as well by the team management, not just by the crowd, but also by
Yeah,
the team management. But
yeah,
we'll
and I
come to
think he
that. We'll come
deserves
to
it.
that.
Today morning, yeah,
Yeah, go ahead, Vinny.
yeah. I mean, today morning the way he bowled in the first session, he looked clueless. The Indian captain looked clueless, and I think the spectators also looked clueless after seeing what was happening.
Right. Any thoughts, Rishabh, from your side?
I think we need summed it up really well. To talk about the performance on the field, it was disappointing. To talk about the performance outside or the other side of the boundary ropes, it was hostile because the Aussies were having chilled beers, but they were spitting fire, right?
Hmm.
And that's a very clear plan of how they come to watch cricket. They are not really interested in how much the ball is swinging and which line and length the ball is pitching, etc. They just come out there, they hold or they keep on chugging beers after beers, and they just enjoy their cricket. So every play and miss was cheered. Every time a ball which was going towards the boundary was cheered. We didn't bowl well, so as Indians we didn't really have a lot of opportunity to cheer. So every time even a single run was taken, the Indians were cheering for that. Like it's something better than nothing. Was the concept India was running on, and then like Vinit said, when especially with Virat Kohli, they were like not even in the ground right after the match as well. After they ended, when we walked out of MCG also, while we were walking back, everyone or many people were just speaking ill about Virat Kohli, that how bad he is, using some curse words which unfortunately, fortunately, we cannot use here. But they were definitely not pleased with what Virat Kohli did and his attitude in general. So the game, even though off the field, or rather on the field, it was disappointing. Off the field, it was quite exciting to be a minority today, because Vineet was caught by a few random people on the streets, and they were just asking him that, what do you think about Virat Kohli? Do you think he did the right thing? And Vineet, being Vineet, trying to save himself, he agreed to the fact that Virat was wrong, because otherwise you wouldn't have seen him over here. But yeah, it was pretty aggressive.
Yeah, we'll come to
One thing
that.
that I observed
Yeah,
is every person that was speaking ill about Virat started his sentence with "He is the best batsman in the world." But what he did yesterday was cheap. So they still admit
yeah,
that he's the best in the world, but what he did yesterday was not Virat Kohli we know.
yeah. We'll come to that, and we'll come to the fact whether the Aussies, okay, are worthy enough to talk about the spirit of the game. We'll come to that point. But coming back to our bowling, right? So we'll go with Anuj first. Anuj, what do you think went wrong with our bowling today? Um, like I think we started off with Siraj as a one-off over, and then I think they went on scoring at a good rate in the first session. What do you think went wrong in a very summarized manner with our bowling today? Anuj, you are on mute.
I think we were very laid back in our approach. Like at 311 for 6, could have thought of wrapping them up at 350. But we were very laid back in our approach. Siraj comes in, bowls one over, then goes away. I don't agree with the fact that Steve Smith and Pat Cummins had the same field. Rohit Sharma had the same field for Cummins, where he could have attacked a bit more. So there was
Hmm.
defensive captaincy, there was inconsistency in bowling. So I think these two factors kind of helped them stitch their 112-run partnership.
Yeah, Pranav, what are your thoughts on the overall field placements, the captaincy, the bowling in the first session, and the runs that we leaked?
I think bowling was very disappointing because um, clearly, if you look at the squad that's been picked, collectively Sundar and Nitish didn't even bowl how much. Akashdeep bowled one single as a bowler. So it's clearly to save the asses of the batters who are failing game after game, uh, rather than trusting them. I mean, why the hell do you play two spinners if you're not bowling them rather quickly when the runs are being made? So it's basics that are not correct, and I think they haven't lost the test just as yet. I wouldn't concede to a defeat just as yet, but it'll take some batting for them to be in this game. Otherwise, it's 2-1 quite easily. Uh, but yeah, I mean, we have no choice other than believing. The field placements have been absolutely pathetic uh, since Rohit Sharma has come back to the team. So I can never understand his field placements, his tactics. There's no leg slip, there's no leg gully. Uh, I mean, I can keep talking about how a basic captain can do better things, but I think yeah, it's for another day where you rant about the
Yeah,
captaincy. But probably 112 runs in or 140 runs in a session is non-markable pop. That's how I can put it.
right. Right. Also, to add to what you say, Pranav, is I think yes, we did assist the batsmen by bowling poorly, and also with the captaincy not being up to the mark. But do you think even the pitch had assisted the Aussies in the first session, where it looked like a complete batting wicket, barring a few snotters that bounced like a tennis ball. But I think apart from that, I think it's a complete batting wicket still, even when we are at 164 for five. And that's where I want to go next and talk about our batting. But do you think that this is still a good batting wicket, um, where I think even now we can still dream about scoring another 150 runs to add to the total and avoid the follow on, and also avoid or minimize the deficit slightly. So again, over to you back at Melbourne, to the two of you. What do you think is the pitch acting up like?
Yeah. So today morning, the reason I say we bowled poorly was it was overcast in the morning and the ball was just 5 overs old. The new ball was 5 overs old. So it was overcast. A ball that's 5 overs old, 143 in a session is it just can't be done. No, that's where I draw the line. You can't let them score 143 in a session when number seven is or number eight is at the crease.
Yeah, even at the point which Sunil Gavaskar made, right, where he said that there were very few deliveries aimed at the rib cage of the batsman. I think that's a very good point because we saw Pat Cummins do that. In fact, he did that on the previous ball before KL Rahul was dismissed. So he made sure that the penultimate ball before the break was aimed at his rib cages, which he ducked, and then the next ball was full cutting away, and that's probably produced the wicket, which makes me think that we should gyrate towards now our batting, our famed batting. We yesterday thought we will only speak about two batsmen. Um and be happy about our score somewhere at 164 for two, but we did some harakiri at the end of the session. So talking about our batting, yeah, I see Rishabh is hiding his face. um, but yes, having said, again, we'll start with Anuj, what do you think? How did we start off with our batting? I know we have a lot to talk about Rohit's shot, but just before I give you the baton, right, I think I don't see anything wrong with Rohit's mindset here, because Rohit keeps playing like this. Um, he cannot be corrected. He's incorrigible. He keeps playing such shots, and in fact, I would have been a little disappointed if Rohit would have gone out playing that famed pull shot. He did try something of sorts, or he would have been bowled or caught in the slips. So I think this is something which was a suicidal dismissal. Yes, Pranav.
I mean, the way we are five down, if you take a look at all the wickets that have fallen, except KL Rahul and Akashdeep, the rest of the three are all harmless deliveries. So you're just gifting your wickets away. We should have been ideally 164 for two, which we predicted correctly. But if you go back and check my Twitter, I had said 170 for five. We are 164 for five. So, so I had expected this, but yeah, it's all bad shots that have been played. The run out was absolutely stupid, and by no means it was Virat Kohli's call. It was Yashasvi Jaiswal's call.
Yes.
Vinji and Rushabh can echo to what I'm saying. It was Jaiswal's call. Kohli was rightly ball watching because they did not pick a single like that before. So yeah, I mean, three wickets we are excess, and that sums up our batting this tour. Probably
Yeah.
again, our batting order actually starts from number five, so they're right in what they do.
Yeah, just going a little behind, right, in the innings. We did have phases where we batted really well, especially that chap Jaiswal, right? His 82 was flawless. Maybe there were a couple of edges here and there, but totally a class innings. What is your view? We need Rishabh. How was it like, the sound of the bat at the MCG of Jaiswal?
Oh, amazing! As cricket fans, right, we have the right to move around in the stadium and not watch from our designated seats, and we utilize that right to the fullest. Like yesterday, we were in straight view. Today, our tickets were in some other stand, more of like a deep square leg and a deep cover view. We still went or sneaked into the straight view stand to have the best possible view. So, and Jaiswal fortunately was the only Indian player who batted for a longer duration. So that gave us the liberty to watch his batting from the straight view as well as from the deep covers and the square leg view as we were changing stands. One thing is for sure that his bat flow is something which is a treat to watch. At his stance, it looks very simple, but the speed at which his bat comes down and that bat flow is something which is, which is just amazing. I mean, that's the adjective you can use for it. And he was not afraid to play his shots. I mean, right early into the innings, he played an uppercut to Pat Cummins. I think it was the very first over. In the second over, basically, when Cummins
Yeah.
first over, he played that uppercut to get a boundary. And from then on, he never looked back. I think if there was one batter who was looking set to take us close to that target, that was Jaiswal. And for an inning like that, the way it ended, I think that's sad, that's bad. And that wicket not only was about him, because after that, we another three wickets fell, which are somewhere or the other should be linked to Jaiswal's run out. Because if that wouldn't have happened, maybe we would have gone into the end of day with just losing Rohit Sharma and Rohit Sharma, एक wicket, na?
KL
Just
Rahul.
and KL Rahul. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Please excuse guys. That was, I mean, the way the game went. We are not in 100% senses, so a little bit of mistake here and there. It's fine, but yeah, I mean, Jaiswal was class apart. Even the Aussie crowd, right? They were also in awe of the way Jaiswal batted. Every boundary which Jaiswal hit was cheered equally by the Aussies. Even with beer in their hand, they were not stopping, or they were not far off from standing up and clapping for Jaiswal when he got to his half century. So that sporting culture shows, and Jaiswal has definitely added some Aussie fans to his list. That's for sure.
Right. And now talking about KL Rahul's wicket, right, Rishabh, that you mentioned, I think until he was out, I think he was still playing well. The cover drives, the off drives, the straight drives were in full flow. I didn't see him. I didn't see him getting beaten outside the off too much. Uh, he clearly was set up by the class act, which is Pat Cummins, and also he got a brilliant ball, didn't he, Pranav?
I mean, he's an absolute relentless hit the deck machine. You can call him a bowling machine. Pat Cummins is
Yeah,
a bowling machine with just two and a half fingers. He can bowl that sort of a ball. Eh, I mean, and KL Rahul has played 500 balls, the first batter to play 500 balls for India in Border Gavaskar Trophy ever. And I've never imagined in my life that I'll say this about KL Rahul, that he's played 500 balls. In the entire
you,
series, still a one
you,
test,
you're
still one
sounding like
test.
how I would probably say about Rohit Sharma playing 500 cricket balls in or deliveries in one series. Anyway, yeah, that's a good point actually, Pranav. Yeah, and still he's got three more innings left where he can still make a lot of impact. The match is still not lost, and again coming back to our batting, right, and the dismissals. Anuj, over to you to help us analyze how or what's your take on Virat's batting before he got out and the fashion in which he got out, which is not very uncommon by now.
I think today he was mindful of the fact that he has a problem with that corridor outside of stump. He was leaving balls really well, but I think the Jaiswal run out played on his mind because like just 5 minutes after that he nicked one of those deliveries where he was conveniently leaving them. So I think that really like it has sat like a monkey on his shoulder now. The fact that he keeps getting out to those deliveries is a big problem. And I think some advice, like I don't remember which expert, but somebody questioned the batting coach for that. Uh, and I think that is right because the batting coach is the one that needs to give the inputs and help Virat Kohli if he cannot help
We don't
himself.
have a batting coach, Anuj. We have two
Yeah,
assistant coaches.
yeah, that's what there is no clarity.
That's nice little banter. Also, that somebody was none other than Sanjay Manjrekar, who said that he's not sure what the batting coach is really doing
But
with the
but having
niggles.
said that, credit to the team management for adjusting Jaiswal's stance.
Yeah.
He's now trying to come forward. Earlier, he was lunging out to Mitchell Stark after the Perth Test. So now credit to the management where they have made a little tweak. You go back and check the videos. He has just slightly opened up his stance,
Yeah.
and his now feet movement is a little more towards the ball where he can come and defend. So it's not that there's no batting coach. Obviously, there is a batting coach in Gautam Gambhir and Abhishek Nair, but yeah, I mean, you take out the coaches, this is the players that you have to perform. It's-
Also this knack of our team to get out or lose a wicket just before the end of this day, right? I have seen this in not just today, but also in the Bangalore test this season, where the last ball of the day, Kohli playing well at 70 nicks one off Phillips at Bangalore. I think again it was probably the same shot which could have been avoided. So yeah,
But
that's clearly
but
throwing
Amit,
away the advantage. Yeah,
I'll just say that wicket India lost wickets in this last 1.5 hour, but it's you have to. I mean, the wicket played its part as well. If you see both the days, yesterday also when India made a comeback in the game, it was the last 1.5 hour where India got a bunch of wickets. So
right.
what we have noticed is and I can't say the sun going down because it's bright here till about 8:30 in the evening, but around that 4:30 to 6 p.m. Melbourne time, that part you see the ball starts to swing a little more. There is a gentle breeze or a little heavy breeze which is flowing across, so that also plays its part. So it's I mean a wicket also has played its part. You completely can't blame it on the batters, but yeah, for the kind of shots they played, and that misjudgment in calling and that run out, it's the Indian batters' fault. But just to put it out there, the wicket is also assisting the bowlers in that last 1.5 hour wala patch.
Right.
Also drag Kohli's
Absolutely.
bat outside of.
So Rishabh has actually given us a strategy for tomorrow. Bat till 2.5 sessions.
Yeah, I was actually being the ardent Sachin fan growing up, seeing the MRF bat. What I was really hoping was we close the day with Akashdeep and Virat both not out, and see both the guys coming out to bat and scoring big with those MRF stickers on their bats. But anyway, those are fantasies.
I'll give you
And
two instances. Now, this is because I've already given this on our groups. One is the Jadeja Pant Birmingham partnership, 222 runs, 98 for 5, where Bumrah hit Stuart Broad for 35 runs. That is one. Second is the last time Jadeja batted in MCG, same situation,
Yes.
173 for 5. They had put on a partnership with Ajinkya Rahane of 121 runs. Eventually, India won that game. I'm not saying that they'll put a partnership of 121 and India will win the game, but with four batters, two plus the two to come, you will avoid the follow on. But from what happens after there is absolutely Jai Mata Di. If they
yeah,
get to
absolutely.
400,
So Pranav, you're saying it's going as per plan, right?
who knows? It's going as per my plan. I predicted 170 for 5. They are 164 for 5.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, if they
Also,
end up with 400, then game on.
also the point about about Jadeja still at the crease, right? And he may give us some hopes about a good partnership. The only thing I think Vineet will agree as well. Jadeja is the most dangerous when he's approaching a 50, isn't it? That's when the runouts come in. Vineet, any takes on that?
Yeah. So Jadeja is dangerous when he approaches a 50, and Kohli is always dangerous. With Kohli, I think I just told an Aussie fan who was sitting right beside me that with Kohli around, I think there is a run out across the corner. And I think 30-40 minutes after that, we saw what happened.
So now we
Statesman,
know whom
isn't
to
he?
blame.
Yeah, true, true. Now, yeah. So any thoughts on the day three? Um, how positive are we? Or like Pranav said, the follow-on will be averted, but it doesn't look like
Even if
we are
not,
anything close to
Australia will not enforce a follow on. I'll give it to
yeah
you in a 500 rupee stamp paper.
15 notes.
So, Australia will not enforce a follow on. They will try and tire India a bit more. So,
Right.
uh, they will not enforce a follow
They'll
on. What I
rather
force
they'll rather try and tire Bumrah, because what we saw today morning, I don't see Bumrah playing the fifth test. He looked
I
down.
don't
He
see
looked down.
Siraj playing the fifth test. So you get
Siraj is
Harshit
not.
Rana and
Siraj will not play for other reasons, obviously.
Prasiddh.
But
Yeah.
But yeah, see the thing is, with the broadcast in India, right? If a player asks for a change of gloves, the immediate thing that happens is we see uh,
Ads.
some pan masala ads. So right at the ground, right? Do you because you talked about Bumrah, do you see that there is really a genuine concern with his fitness and his lasting the fifth test?
yeah. So today morning with the new ball, his speed was. I think he hardly crossed 140. So most of the times he was seeing the speed on the speedometer. It was like 130, 132. That's not Bumrah, right? I mean, even though it was early in the day, with the new ball, that was not the Bumrah we know.
Right. And also, I think, like, now I'm being a little pessimistic here, but let's say if we lose this test match, we still have a hope of equaling the at Sydney. So we still retain the Border Gavaskar Trophy, don't we? So I think it's Aussies to lose from here, not India's series anymore.
We do, but we'll lose a spot in the WTC final, albeit assuming that Australia will.
See, Pranav, better than going into the finals and losing twice, right? You don't reach
I
finals, so
mean,
there's no chance of losing.
South Africa will come to. So you have an outside chance of probabilities with South Africa. So
Yeah.
Maybe then Kohli will
But
find
and
a
and
good
as we
companion
speak,
to
right?
shoulder push him in Rabada.
yeah, Corbin Bosch has hit a 50 and picked up a 5 on debut as we speak. That's
Or
what
maybe a
Amaya.
debutant somewhere.
Yeah. So
Maybe.
what I'm trying, what I'm trying to foresee here is maybe India be bowled out for 390
Oh,
touch wood,
wow, wow. That's good. That's
390.
another 225 runs, which probably
Yeah, I
would
mean
be our total in the second innings.
you have four batters, right? So on an average, you want sorry five because Bumrah can bat. So you have on an average 50 runs from each batter. I don't know, or maybe a
Yeah, let's
100
hope for
from
the
Pant.
best. Yeah,
Who knows? Because
right.
Pant is
So
due and this is his time.
Pant is due.
This is the
Yes,
Yeah, when
Pant
best
it
is
when
due.
batting
it comes
wicket
to
of the
dreaming, you can
series.
dream anything. So
I
Right.
mean, who
sky's the
knows?
limit.
When you wake
I
up,
think
India are all out for 200, or they are all out for 400. Nothing in between.
tomorrow the key is, and I feel the key was today as well. We need to attack Scott Boland. Okay, we need that guy to be taken apart, because if we take him apart, then obviously the pressure comes on the top two premium bowlers. Uh, but who attacks Scott
Who?
Boland?
That is the
Yes,
question. Who?
and I thought Jaiswal was the one who would have done that. But again, we are in a very precarious position. If we have to go to the fifth test, and Scott Boland will definitely play the fifth test, then we have to take him apart, because that's what they did in this test. They took the best bowler in the world, and took on the best bowler in the world. In fact, now coming back to the Virat incident, right? And like we mentioned earlier, I think we'll talk about the legitimacy of Aussies crying foul, and we have had similar incidents in the past where Aussies have done even worse things on the field. Like I mean, it's not like only the likes of Ram Naresh Sarwan, Sachin Bhaji, um, or the likes of Javed Miandad who have been angry with the Aussies, right? We've got a lot of different players who have got their own experiences to share. So personally, when Ponting says that this is absolute disgraceful, I don't agree. um, I do feel that that was unnecessary from this player, that is Kohli. Like Vinith said, the best batter in the world, easily, across all formats. Maybe in Test cricket you may have someone like Steve Smith better than him, but across formats, easily the most orthographic best batsman. But he shouldn't have done. But we have seen the Aussies do even worse things. Okay, and they can't say that, there was no point of Kohli taking on Constas and giving him a hard time, giving a hard time to a debutant. Okay, We have seen when the sandpaper saga happened, it was the most inexperienced player who was given um, the what do you say, the
Responsibility.
sandpaper, the responsibility of playing up with the ball. So and only the leadership team got the punishment. I'm 100% sure the entire team knew what was happening in the background. And here there is a player who is taking on for the team and is fighting the battles of his bowlers. So it's a completely different scenario. And at least not the Aussies will be the best people to talk about the spirit of the game. What are your views on this? We can go one by one because we all have a say in this. So maybe we can start with Anuj. Anuj looks like he's going to be very serious for the next 1 minute.
No, absolutely, you're right. Like when Ricky Ponting, it's like what you can say. It's teapot calling the kettle black, something like that. You know, uh, can't expect spirit of the cricket things from someone like Ricky Ponting. Although I agree that Virat shouldn't have done that. He shouldn't have barged into Sam Constas. But yeah, you're absolutely right. Ricky coming from Ricky Ponting's mouth, it's double standards.
Yeah, also the media calling him clown, King Kong, that is utter disgraceful. That is even more disgraceful than what Virat has done. See, as sportsmen, right? You're born to have a certain character, uh, and that sometimes comes up. I don't agree that doing these things fires up Virat, and that's how he plays. I don't agree with that. I think he must behave. But having said that, what the media is doing there is even far more disgraceful, because they have got nothing to do with disrespecting a player like this, and that too of the stature of Virat Kohli, and do what they're doing right now, calling him a clown and whatnot. Yes, Pranav, I think you had something to say.
Yeah, I mean, for the first time, the Star Sports broadcast made more sense to me today when Irfan Pathan took a stand for Virat Kohli. Uh, so what he said is right. I mean,
For the
you're
first time.
selling you're selling Virat Kohli before the tour, and then now you're throwing him under the bus. I think match referee has taken a stance. Kohli has accepted the offense. Move on. It's over, right? So probably what Kohli did is incorrect, but I think there's nothing beyond what ICC has done. Yes, you might feel Kohli has gotten away with what he has done. I mean, Rabada was fined for 2 matches because he had accumulated demerit points. But uh, Australia is a place for banter, but this is too much. I mean, you remember Ponting signaling to Steve Buckner that it's out, and Buckner actually gave it out in the 2008 series when Buckner was making his debut in Australia as an umpire. So there have been far more worse incidents in the past. Yeah, I mean it's better if both sides don't talk about it a lot. It just spices up the series. You take it that way and move on. Uh, we are in a far more precarious situation, so we have much more better things to look at than Kohli and Costas.
Yeah, I mean, we have seen that incident where someone like Faf du Plessis had to come out from a shower to stop Warner and Decog. I was worried about the towel, man. So this is what the Aussies do, and they are talking about Virat Kohli just edging it to the slips. Sorry, edging it to another player. So that's not a big deal. I mean, it's okay. It's unnecessary. But yeah. Anyway, Vineet, Rishabh.
Uh, I have a different viewpoint on this. If Kohli wanted to show aggression, maybe Sledge Cummins, Sledge Hazelwood. Hazelwood's not here, but Hazelwood is one of those regular offenders from the Australian team. Sledge Star, Sledge the seniors. Uh,
Yeah.
why do it to a 19-year-old who's just tried to smack your best bowler of the team? And what I think is what Kohli needed to do after that is he needed to score 100 to shut everyone's mouths. Had he scored 100, those boos would have converted into an applause because that's how Australia play. That's how their media is. That's how their media is to their own players as well. So it's not only reserved for India. That's how their media is for everyone. So Kohli needed his bat to do the talking, but that did not happen, unfortunately. And unless he doesn't convert it in the second innings, I don't think these boos are stopping. They are going to continue in Sydney as well.
Yeah, true. I think that's what going to most likely going to happen. But we'll be hopeful. Rishabh, you can smile. Uh, don't worry.
Rishabh is not making any predictions at the end of the test.
All right. So
Probably.
predict. Yeah, talking about predictions, right? Predictions for tomorrow. So 390 all out India. Pranav, that's what you're saying. What about you, Anuj?
I think somewhere close to 300. We'll just avoid the follow on.
What about Vineet, you and Rishabh?
I think we'll concede a 150 run deficit. So around 325, 330.
Okay. So
Yeah.
am I the only one who's thinking India won't be able to avoid the follow-on?
I mean, even if
Yeah,
they
even
don't, Australia
no,
will
Rishabh,
bat.
you're not the only one. You're not the only one. Even I feel that maybe we'll be short of runs. But again, like Pranav said, uh, they are not going to impose the follow-on. They would want to tire the bowlers because the gap between the fourth and the fifth test is probably only 2 days, right? So that makes matters even worse for our management to come
3 days.
back.
Three
three
days,
days. I mean,
30,
yeah,
31, 1 and 2.
yeah, 3 days.
Uh,
Yes,
but on what basis I'm saying 390 is because I feel Pant is due.
Panth
And
is due. Yes,
when he's hungry, he's mad.
But
So
Pranav, going by that sense, Rohit was due, Kohli was due.
Kohli is due since five
Everyone
years.
was due,
five.
but
I
none
mean,
delivered.
the point here is that Kohli has had one century. Forget Rohit because he's in the worst form of his life in Test cricket. Uh, Pant is someone who I feel goes under the radar a lot because he's not talked about a lot after his Kaba heroics, of course. But Cummins has figured out a way to get Pant. So
Yes,
it'll be interesting to see how he counters that challenge. And that is where I feel if he gets a couple of boundaries in the first 3 4 overs, then you can't stop him because unless he himself decides that he wants to go out. So I think Pant is due. Even if we see a 70 from him, we are avoiding the follow on for sure because I'm
yep.
pretty sure Nitish Reddy can hold his bat. So does Washington Sundar. So
But but
yeah,
Pranav, that is my exact problem because when you're saying that Pant can hit 3 boundaries in the first over, while hitting those 3 boundaries on 2 deliveries, he'll give you chances as well. Maybe
yeah. I
elsewhere
mean,
in that.
it
So
is it is a risk reward cricket, right? When you're in a situation you have nothing to lose. From here on, whatever India gets is a bonus because eventually they'll get a 400 target.
Yeah, I
So when
mean
you're in that sort of a
that approach did win us the Sydney Test
yeah,
almost
yeah.
in the last
So
edition, right? So
so
maybe
Pant
that
had
approach will
Pujara at one end.
still work.
What Amaya Dada is saying, Pant had Pujara at one end. So if you have Jadeja at one end who can hold his bat, who can just play out deliveries, it's not a venomous switch where something will come out of nowhere. It will, but it will not come at your rib cage where you can fend off to the keeper. So you can hold your bat. If you play 10, 20 deliveries initially, then there are runs for taking. Third day is considered to be the best day to bat as per MCG tradition. The
Yeah.
average is 241 for 6 on day 3 in Melbourne since the last 3 years. 241 for 6. If you put 160 plus 241, you're getting to 400. So, yeah, you can do your maths. That's where I'm saying 390 all out.
Okay, the sixth wicket would be Consta's bowled Bumrah for duck.
Yeah,
Okay.
Constas and one of Labuschagne or Pat Cummins, whoever the night watchman is. So I'm expecting that
if
sort of a
all of
day.
this comes true, right, I for sure know that Pranav has some inside information for sure.
No,
Like there can't be so much confidence, especially in a day which has gone like this.
no, see, that's why you watch cricket, right? Test cricket for me is hope. That's why I watch Test cricket. So I can be ultra confident and the team can let me down. What happens to me? Nothing happens to me. So there's no harm in predicting something like that. I had believed when South Africa needed
Yesterday,
31 of 30. So there's no
Yeah,
harm.
and I think yesterday we did say that the two sessions today when we bat would define the BGT. That's probably more or less defined, but we'll still have some hope because of the partnership that Jaiswal and Kohli had in between. Now the thing is, if the score line was 164 for two, we would have been having more happier faces, right? So that being said, I think I'll circle it back to summarize to what Vineet said, that you can't win test matches in a session, but you can lose a test match in a single session. And I think we kind of had that session today, unfortunately. But still, there is a lot of cricket to be played, and we'll hope that when we talk tomorrow, we'll be happier than what we are right now, um, at the end of day three. And when we preview tomorrow, we'll see what happens. All right, thank you, gentlemen, for your time. Hope Rishabh, you and Vineet, you sleep well before the day three at the stadium, or the ground rather. The stadiums are in India, and the grounds are in the other parts. So yeah, good night, guys. Have a good sleep. Bye bye.
Thank you so much,
Happy
guys. Bye.
faces tomorrow. Cheers.